Let's all begin lying on our backs. We're going to start in the Supta Baddha Konasana posture, which is a reclined bound ankle. So find a way that just feels comfortable for you to release onto your back. And if having your knees out wide right now isn't something that's comfortable, then just have your knees up with your feet into the mat. And if holding them up is requiring a lot of energy, drop your knees together. If you'll take the reclined bound ankle, start to walk the soles of your feet together, letting your knees come wide. You might want to press through your hands and your forearms to lift your hips up, slide your pelvis down, and then release back. For your arms, you can have your arms alongside your body, or perhaps one hand on heart, one hand on belly, or both hands on belly. And then allow your eye gaze to become a little softer. And if you feel comfortable here, allow your eyes to close. And give yourself the chance to fully arrive. Despite the constraints of time and space, you have found the time and some reason, some motivation, some intention to show up this morning. And so maybe that's very clear. Maybe it's something that's a little more cloudy. But give yourself that acknowledgement for all of those thousands and millions of choices that have been made. You ended up here, and we ended up here together. And take physical inventory of your body from the top of the body all the way down to your toes. Just recognizing the way that you feel. Whether you feel cool, warm, tight, relaxed, porous. And if you're noticing any of those sensations that feel a little bit more tension, then on your exhales, imagine those spots of your body melting away. Notice if you're holding on anywhere that simply isn't necessary as you rest. And then send that attention to the quality of your breath. Again, is it large and full, soft and shallow? Just allow your breath to be natural in its own rhythm. And then you'll start to control it a little bit, allowing yourself to have fuller inhales and fuller exhales, seeking equality between the two. It doesn't always happen, but we seek it. And simply being mindful of how your breath is affecting your physical body. Then send your thoughts to your thoughts. Has there been a certain quality that you have experienced this morning? Perhaps you feel very calm, focused, insistent. Or perhaps you feel a little bit more loose, perhaps even agitated. It's not good and it's not bad. Just give yourself a moment to see where you are. Once you've got a little bit of identification, invite some of those thoughts away. If you need them later, they'll be there for you. If you don't need them anymore, then you can leave them completely. And then I invite you to set a dedication or intention for this practice. Perhaps it is the reason that you stepped on your mat this morning. Perhaps it is another. And it can be very small. Simply doing something for yourself is a valid intention enough. So we'll take a few breaths together as community, solidifying these dedications. Take a very deep breath in. Feel your belly rise up, your back press into your mat. Hold at the very top for a moment, and on an exhale, release it completely out. Come all the way down until there is a void at the very bottom, and notice that valley of your breath. And take another deep breath in. See if you can find softness even as you inhale, creating more space. And exhale. And then once more on your own, whenever you're ready. If you've taken the knees wide variation, take your hands to the backs of your thighs to help guide your knees back toward each other. We've been in this position for a little bit. And then pull both knees into your chest. Maybe take your hands to your kneecaps if you want a little bit of a looser grip, or you can take your hands to your shins, a little left and right. And then start to move your knees together and away from each other in circles. Spending a little bit of movement again. And then place your knees in 90 degrees. So you've got your feet out in front of you. Your knees are directly over your hips. Press your low back into the mat, and then press your hands to your thighs. Flex your toes towards your face. So when you press your hands to thighs and thighs to hands, I start shaking nearly immediately. Maybe you do too, especially if you're pressing your low back into the mat. All right, release, get soft. Let everything just kind of come in again. 2 breaths. And then get back in it. Press hands to thighs, thighs to hands. Flex your toes, shoulder blades down, back on your mat. Press your low belly into the mat. So you're trying to make no space between your back and the mat. All right, exhale, soften again. Pull your knees gently in towards you. Rock a little left and right. Keep your right leg in. Extend your left leg out in front of you. We'll take a gentle supine twist. Take your knee across your body. Adjust as you need. Right arm out to the side as counterbalance. And then if it's okay, send your gaze out over to the right. Again, just notice where you are. We'll be doing some twisty things today. On an exhale, take your knee and head back to center. Extend right leg out, pull left knee in. Same but different, twist to the other side. And then take head and knee back to center once again. Take your hands to the backs of your thighs, rock up and down the length of your spine. We're going to come to a seated pose. So if this doesn't feel good on your back, then just roll to one side. And then come into a Sukhasana pose. So place the non-dominant leg in front, and then we're simply going to slump forward. So you might need to adjust a little bit. For me, when I do this, my bum does rise up a little bit. It's fine, as long as it doesn't hurt your back. If it does feel uncomfortable on your back, then roll up your yoga mat several times so you've got more support, or stick like a small pillow or a blanket underneath you. But generally, you're going to roll forward, let your back round, your arms out in front of you if that's comfortable. You just want to use your arms just for balance and let the weight of your body sink down. Again, start to notice some of these sensations, and if there's any tension that creeps in, like it's trying to compensate. And then keeping your head heavy, start to press your hands into the mat or the ground in front of you and press your way up to seat. And eventually, you will lift your head up last. On an inhale, reach your arms out and up toward the ceiling. On an exhale, twist to your left. Right hand to the top of your left knee, left fingertips behind you. Lift tall. And on your exhales, twist a little bit more deeply. Remember when we were on our backs earlier with our hands to thighs and we had our belly button kind of pressed back to our spine to press our back to the mat? Imagine that feeling here as you twist. Send your head back to center. Inhale, arms lift once again. Exhale, twist to the opposite side. Again, you're going to pull your low belly in to help you twist. Your shoulder blades are sliding behind you, even here. Just breathe. And then send your head back to center. Inhale, lift your arms out and up. On an exhale, take your hands in towards your heart center. Send your eyes along the same plane as your thumbs. So as you bring your hands down to heart, your chin is down to your chest. We'll do that twice more. Inhale, reach out and up. Your chin about pointing towards your thumbs wherever they are. On an exhale, press your palms together, elbows out wide, shoulder blades down, thumbs to sternum. One final time like that. Exhale, draw in. Great, then roll over onto your hands and knees. However that feels good. And so just for a couple moments, work through your joints. I don't know if the microphone just picked up my ankle cracking. With your wrists, your fingers, and just shift it out. And then make sure your fingertips are spread wide, your knees are below your hips, and your shins are parallel to each other. We're going to take a dynamic cat-cow flow. So send your hips back to your heels. On an inhale, rise to your knees, palms lift up, slight back bend. Engage your belly, exhale. Bow all the way down, modified child's pose. Inhale, keep your heart low, come forward to the cow pose. Your inner elbows reaching forward, gaze is up. Exhale, press up through cat and send your hips back to your heels, long through your arms. Again, inhale, rise to knees, palms lift. Exhale, bow, modified child's pose. Inhale, heart is low as you come forward for your cow. Exhale, press up through cat, and again, send your hips back to your heels. One more time, inhale, lift. Exhale, bow. Inhale, heart low for a cow. Exhale, press up to a cat pose. Tuck your toes, send your hips way, way far back, and then lift your hips up and back. First, a downward facing dog of this class. Maybe of the day. Oh my gosh, it could be the first one of the month because it is August 1st. Unreal. Find a little bit of movement if you need it. And then lift high to your toes on an inhale, roll to the top of a plank pose. Make sure you've got the right distance that you need. Inner elbows face forward, lift up through your inner thighs, press your heels back, reach your heart forward, simply breathe. And then on your next exhale, send your chin to chest, lift it all the way up, downward facing dog once again. On your next inhale, right leg up toward the ceiling for a tripod dog, bend your knee, open up through your hips, and then re-straighten it. On your exhale, take your knee to your right elbow, shift it forward. Inhale up and back. Exhale, take it to your left knee. Equal weight through both palms. Inhale up and back. And then exhale, place your foot between your hands towards your right thumb. We'll take an Anjaneyasana, drop your left knee down, arms lift up. On an exhale, shrug your shoulders back. Start to squeeze your thighs toward each other for support and strength. And we'll take an Anjaneyasana flow here. On an exhale, take your right hand to the inside of your right foot, looking up towards your left thumb. Inhale, take it right back up. Continue the cycle around. On an exhale, right hand to the back thigh. Inhale, back up to the ceiling. Once more, exhale, right hand to the inside of the foot. Inhale, Anjaney. Continue all the way back and back. Inhale, back up toward the ceiling. And then on an exhale, take your hands to your heart. Lean your way forward. Lengthen on an inhale. Exhale, twist left elbow to the outside of your right thigh. Press your palms together. Maybe even get to the place where your thumbs are into the center of your sternum again. And then tuck your back toes, lift up your back knee, look to your right toes, step your left foot forward, chair twist. Exhale, forward fold, release, separate your feet, ragdoll pose. Maybe shake it out or perhaps sway. And then release your fingertips down to the mat. Inhale, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana, gaze forward. Exhale, fold, Uttanasana. Press through your feet, reach your arms out and up. Lift your fingertips up toward the ceiling, and on an exhale, take your hands to your heart. And then bring your arms alongside your body. Stay here in your Tadasana mountain pose for 3 breaths. On your next inhale, lift arms out and up, palms press above you. Exhale, forward fold, hinge at your hips. It's okay to bend your knees as you come all the way down. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold, step back to the top of your plank pose. And this time, just press up and back to down dog. If you know that you need a vinyasa, go ahead and take it. And then on your next inhale, left leg up and back. Tripod dog. Exhale, take your knee to your left elbow, shift it forward, keep your heel up to your bum. Inhale up toward the ceiling. Exhale, take your knee across your body to the right elbow. Inhale up and back. Exhale, place your foot between your hands toward left thumb. Drop your right knee down for Anjaneyasana. Back toes are tucked or untucked. Untucked is a little bit more challenging because you have to press to the top of your foot. Okay, we're going to take that flow again. Exhale, left hand to the inside of your left foot, gaze up toward the right thumb. Inhale, back up to Anjaney. Left hand cycles all the way back to the back thigh. Inhale, back to center. Second time, exhale, left hand down to the mat. Inhale, back up toward the ceiling, cycle around. Left hand to the thigh behind you. Inhale, back up. And on an exhale, take your hands to your heart center. So your left hip, pull back. So you can lean forward, still create length of your spine. Exhale, twist. Elbow to the outside of your right thigh. Press your palms together. Maybe look beyond your left shoulder. Tuck your back toes. Lift up your back knee. Intensify. Look towards your left foot. Step your right foot forward. You might take one or several steps. Chair twist. And then look down to your feet. Release, forward fold. Separate your feet. Ragdoll pose. If you've taken a class, release your fingertips to the mat. Inhale, half lift. Shift the weight to the balls of your feet. Exhale, fold, lift up on your kneecaps. Come all the way up to standing. Reach your arms up. Exhale, hands to your heart. And alongside your body, Tadasana, 5 breaths. After your 5th breath, inhale, arms lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, offer your heart. Exhale, fold and honor yourself. Step back to the top of a plank pose. On an exhale, lower all the way down to your mat. Elbows graze your rib cage. Untuck your toes. Inhale, low cobra. We're going to stay here for a couple breaths. Elbows pointing straight back. Shoulders up and back away from your ears. Press to the tops of your feet, even your pinky toes. Exhale, release all the way down. Make your way back to a downward facing dog. Deep breath in. Full exhale. On your next inhale, right leg up and back. Spike it all the way. Lift up your left toes to get even more distance. On an exhale, place your foot between your hands toward right thumb. Angle left foot down. Get your lower body in warrior 2. Drop your right thigh. Even here, press to the outer edge of your left foot. Use all of that strength. And then spiral open, warrior 2. Sit low. Inner biceps pointing up, palms facing down. Flip your right palm up, left hand to left thigh, straighten the right leg, exalted triangle, lift your right fingertips up. Lots of space to the right side of your body. Exhale, take it back down to warrior 2. Twice more like that. Inhale, exalted triangle. Exhale, lower. Exalted triangle. Exhale, lower. You're going to sweep your left arm towards the front of the room, pivot onto the ball of your back foot, so you're in a high crescent lunge. Take your hands down to your heart. Right hip pulls back, lean forward, find the strongest, longest line you can, and then on your exhale, you're going to twist to the right so that you've got your elbow to the outside of your right thigh. Press your palms together. Maybe look up toward the ceiling. Look down toward your right foot rather. This time, just place your hands onto the mat. You're going to launch forward into standing split. So again, maybe this takes multiple steps or maybe just one. Shift your weight forward. You can use your hands as the balance, lift up your left leg. Once you found that balance, inhale, lift up halfway. So it's kind of like a supported warrior 3. The bottom leg, top leg don't have to be straight. We just work toward it. And then exhale, reach your chest towards your thigh. If you want to work on balance here, start to walk your right hand behind your right calf first, and then tiptoe your left fingertips behind the hand as well. Engage your core. This is going to help you bring your chest to your thigh, which also is going to lift your left heel. Find activity through your left toes. Okay, take both hands down to the mat. Then you're going to bend your right knee, tuck your left knee behind it, and you're going to come all the way down to a seat with your legs crossed. Just try it. Okay, if you don't feel secure here, then extend your left leg out in front of you. We're simply going to do a seated twist. Take your right hand behind you, inhale, left arm up. Exhale, twist to the right, elbow to the outside of your thigh. Make sure that you're shifting the weight also to your left hip. All right, exhale, take your gaze back to center. Counter twist to the other side, lean all the way around. Then don't think about it too much. Keep that twist going, spin all the way around, yoga magic, and you end up in a twist on the other side. Or if that doesn't work, just flip out your legs. Left hand behind you, lean up, Lift up with your right arm, exhale, twist. Right elbow to the outside of your left thigh. Look beyond your left shoulder, shift the weight to your right hip. And then gaze back to front, release, take a little counter twist over to the right, no more funny stuff. And then come up, roll over your hands and knees. Cow and cat, your own breath. And then make your way back to downward facing dog. If you'd like to take a vinyasa in between, you're welcome to do that. Once in your downward facing dog, inhale, left leg up and back. Again, lift up to your right toes, really get as much space as you can. On an exhale, place your foot between your hands. Maybe you keep your left palm down as you do so. Drop your right heel down, getting into warrior two with our bottom part of our body. Again, drop your left thigh, press to the outer edge of your right foot, and then unfurl, unravel your first warrior two on this side. Imagine that you're actually pressing something down with your hands. Find that resistance. Sit low. Then flip your left palm up, right hand drops the thigh, straighten the left leg, lift up your arm, exalted triangle. Exhale, release to warrior two. Twice more to that exalted triangle. Your inhale lifts you, and your exhale, you descend. Once more. Then pivot on your back foot. Cycle your right hand towards the front of the room so you're in a high crescent lunge. Take your hands to your heart center. Lean forward. Lots and lots and lots of length. Exhale, twist at your belly. Right elbow comes to the outside of your left knee. Palms together. Really spike up through the back thigh as well. Continue to breathe. And then look down towards your toes in the front. Release, take your hands down to the mat. We're going to shift forward to that standing splits. Again, maybe it is one hop, maybe it is several. Lift up. Realign your hands so that your wrists are below your shoulders. Inhale, halfway lift, dropping your right thigh, lifting up your left hip. Exhale, start to fold in. Again, the more that you're using your core to draw you towards your thigh, the more that right leg will lift up. For balance, start with the left hand behind the calf, and then maybe move the right hand behind it as well. Remember your breath, remember your intention. It's all connected. And then take your hands back down to the mat. Bend through the left knee, hook the right knee behind it. You're gonna come onto your shin, onto your bum, so you're in a twisted Matsyendrasana pose. Or moving to it, I should say. Again, if your left hip is like really away from the mat, extend your right leg out in front of you. Take your left hand behind you, inhale, right arm is up. Exhale, twist again, hooking the elbow to the outside. And if that's not feeling right, simply hug your knee in toward you. Gaze back to front, unravel, counter twist over to the right. Then continue that twist, yoga magic. Switch out your legs. And we'll take Matsyendrasana, the other side. Right hand behind you, left arm lifts up. Exhale to twist. Making sure you've got more equal weight between your hips. Exhale, take your gaze to center. Unravel, counter twist. Lean over to the left, let your head get heavy. Press your way back up. Roll over onto your hands and knees for some cow and cat to your own breath. And then when you're ready, you're going to press up to downward facing dog. If you need a vinyasa, please take it. On your next inhale, right leg comes up toward the ceiling. On an exhale, place your foot between your hands toward right thumb. You're going to set up for warrior two. And when you're ready, unravel, warrior two pose. Option to stay here or 3 times. Move between the warrior two and the exalted triangle. Your inhales will carry you up if you take a more dynamic flow. After you finish that 3rd time, or you have finished staying in a warrior two, we're going to move to a skandasana pose. So you're going to start to come hands down to the mat, bring up your left toes, and then send them out to the side. You're going to start to drop your hips towards your right heel. Depending how flexible you are, you might get your hips like way far down to the mat, or maybe not, if you're me. You can take your hands to the mat for support or bring them to heart center here. Keep your left toes flexed up towards your face. Just breathe. Then take your hands down to the mat again. Cycle back to the front of the mat so you end up in a low lunge, but your right foot is out to the side. We're setting up for lizard pose. I'm going to be taking a leg up variation here. You're welcome to take the knee down. So inhale, reach your heart forward. Make sure your toes of the right foot are pointed a little bit out to the right. And then on an exhale, either start to bend your elbows a bit, forearms to black, or forearms all the way down to the mat. Keep your right knee gently pulling in towards your right shoulder. Start to press your hands back into the mat to lift your way up. And then you're going to walk your right foot to the inside. So you're in a more regular low lunge. We're going to move to a modified pyramid. So the left heel is going to remain up, but you're going to start to straighten your right leg. You might need to walk your hands back so your wrists are generally below your shoulders. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthen. Right hip is drawing back. Exhale, reach your chin to your shin. Lift up on your kneecaps. Just breathe. Take the tension out of your jaw and out of your shoulders. Excuse me, inhale, lift up halfway, pull your right toes towards your face, and then exhale, bow down again. This might feel a little bit more intense. All right, release your foot down to the mat. Place more weight into your left palm. Take your right hand to your right hip. Lift up and long. Start to twist your torso so your right shoulder is beginning to stack above your left. Make sure your inner left elbow is facing forward. And then if you'd like, unfurl fingertips toward the ceiling. Modified revolved triangle. All right, on an exhale, take your hand back down to the mat. Re-bend into the right knee. Step your right foot back to meet your left. Vinyasa, if you'd like it, we'll meet in downward facing dog. When you're ready, on your inhale, left leg up and back, spike up through your right heel. Exhale, place your foot between your hands toward left thumb. Angle your lower body down, or your back foot rather, so that you're in warrior two legs. And then as you're ready, unravel. Warrior two. Option to stay here, or 3 times, moving to the exalted triangle. Inhales, carry you up. Exhales, descend down. After that third breath, we're going to move to that skandasana pose once again. So you're going to start to take your hands down toward the mat, kind of like at an angle, so closer to your left foot. Spike your right toes up, flex your toes towards your face. Your left toes are going to start to angle in a little bit here, so like 45 degrees from where they were at the 90. And then keeping hands at mat, or bring your hands to your heart center, come to skandasana. Release hands down to the mat if you took that variation. Continue that cycle back to the front of your mat, so you're in a low lunge, but your left foot is to the outside, setting up for lizard pose. So whether you have your back leg up or down, attempt to do the same on this side, left toe slightly out to the side. Inhale, halfway lift, lift out, give yourself lots of space. And then exhale, use the space you've created, bending elbows, coming down to block, or coming down to forearms. Again, ever so gently, you're pulling your left knee in. This is just so it's not splaying out to the side. It's a different pose. Okay, start to press your hands back into the mat, lifting up. or setting the block to the side. Lift up the back knee if you had dropped it down. We're gonna wiggle left foot in, so we're in a more traditional low lunge. And then we move to our modified pyramid pose. So the back heel is spiked up. Start to straighten the left leg, maybe walk your hands back so that your wrists are below your shoulders. Left hip draws back, inhale, lift out, lots of space, exhale, start to bring your chin towards your shin. And just breathe, bring your shoulders away from your ears. Take the pose out of your forehead. Inhale, lift up halfway, flex your toes towards your face, and then attempt to do the same thing, reaching your chin to your shin. My word. All right, release the foot back down. So more weight to your right palm, again, or right, for me, I'm on my fingertips. Coming down all the way is also fine. I like to be up on spider fingers a bit. Inner elbow wraps forward, left hand to left hip. So lengthen out, start to twist at your belly, so much twisting. Left shoulder is more or less stacking over right shoulder. And then if you'd like, left fingertips up toward the ceiling. Just breathe. Next exhale, release hand down to the mat. Rebend into the front knee, you're in a low lunge. Step your left foot back to meet your right, high plank. Exhale, lower to or towards your mat, elbows raising into your ribcage. Untuck toes for an upward facing dog or cobra. The difference is your up dog, thighs are away from the mat or pressing away from the mat. Exhale, lift up and back. Downward facing dog, 3 breaths here. Fingertips spread wide. Reach your inner thighs spiraling back. And then take knees to mat, hips to heels for child's pose, or another restful posture of your choice if child's pose does not feel restful. Take 3 more breaths in your restful posture. You can do whatever you'd like in these 3 breaths. Whether it's to rest, drink water, work on another pose, your first of 3 breaths begins now. At the end of your 3rd breath, press your way up to seated, and then start to just extend your legs out in front of you. So bump your hips to one side. We're going to take a Baddha Konasana posture. So we took a Supta Baddha Konasana earlier in class. We're going to take the regular one. So knees up, feet to mat. Let your knees drop out wide, soles of feet toward each other. Fingertips behind you, lift up your hips, and then as much as you would like, scooch your hips toward your feet. Hands to your feet. Inhale, lift up your heart, shoulder blades back. With the activity of your legs, press your knees down and back. You'll notice that you'll start to tilt forward just as that happens. Allow that tilt to continue. And then keep your back flat. So if you come to a spot where you're starting to round out, just back out. Tilt forward more at your hips, shoulder blades back. Find Tadasana through your spine and then tilt again. You might find that this happens several times through the course of this pose. We are constantly in motion, even when we think that we are static. All right, inhale to lift up if you took that tilt forward. Exhale, release your feet, fingertips behind you, lift up your hips, scooch them back. Hands to the backs of your thighs, bring them up toward each other, and then roll over onto your hands and knees for a tabletop pose. Place a little bit more weight into your left knee, lift up your right leg, and then make some wide circles with your right knee in one direction. And then take those same circles in the opposite direction. Place your right knee down to the mat. Shift the weight to that leg. Toes tucked or untucked, whatever's best for your knee. Left knee comes out, make circles. And then the other way. See what kind of range of motion you can create. And then take your knees back down to the mat. Shins are parallel to each other. Cat-cow flow again, unless you prefer a more traditional cat-cow, and then do what suits you best. If you're flowing with me, take your hips back to your heels. Inhale, rise to your knees, lift up. Exhale, bow, modified child's. Inhale, keep it low for a cow pose. Exhale, press up, 3 cats, and your hips back to your heels. One more time with that flow. Inhale, lift. Exhale, bow. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Tuck your toes behind you, and then make your way to downward facing dog. If you need a vinyasa, that option is available for you. Take a very deep breath in, and a very full exhale. Rise to your toes, send your heels over to the right chest. Press your chest back to your left thigh. Inhale, come back up to center, and then take the other side, pivot to your heels to the left, chest for right thigh. And then take it back to center. Any wiggles that you need, you can take them. All right, we're gonna start to take these, the sequence, and we're gonna add on to it. Right leg up toward the ceiling on an exhale. Place your foot between your hands towards your right thumb. Warrior 2 as you are ready. From Warrior 2, option to stay here or 3 times to an exalted triangle. Inhale to lift. Exhale to sink low. And then from there, you're gonna come to your Standasana. So hands come down, pivot your left foot so your heel comes in, your toes come up, and then maybe bring your hands to heart center. Just breathe. Take your hands down to the mat if you took that variation. Pivot towards the front. This time, place your right hand to the outside of your right foot so you're in a low lunge. Press through both feet, lift all the way up, high lunge. Hands to your heart center on an exhale. Right hip back, lean forward. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist. So prayer twist here. Left elbow to the outside of right thigh. Press palms together. Find lots of length. So your right thigh is drawing really far back. Cycling the inner part of your left thigh up toward the ceiling. Shoulder blades working away from your ears. Look down towards the front foot. Take your left hand to the mat. Right hand to your right hip. The moment we've all been waiting for. Revolved half moon pose. So maybe find a little bit of momentum. Get the blood flowing, look forward. Your left hand is gonna be, for me, it's about 6 inches to the left and about 9 inches further forward. Shift weight forward, left leg will lift. Awesome. So find length here. Activity through both legs. And then, if you would like, right fingertips up toward the ceiling. Just breathe. Okay, things are gonna get fun. Start to bend both knees. Take your right hand to right hip for balance. You're gonna come up to standing, bringing your left knee up so that your thigh is parallel with the ground. Take your hand to your left hand to left hip. Awesome, then take your right hand, place it on your left thigh. Left elbow points back. Stand up tall, drop your left hip so it's not hiking up. And then if you'd like, right hand slides down the outside of your leg to the foot. So you're grasping the outside of your left foot. Maybe extend your left leg out in front of you. Okay, release that. And then when you're ready, simply stand down, shake it out, do whatever you have to do. And then come to your Tadasana. If you prefer to be in Samasthiti, with hands at heart, please come there. Recognize the state of your body, the state of your thoughts. What has changed and what is the same? Maybe sway a little bit front and back on your feet, left and right. Finding that spot in the middle, splitting the difference, letting the movements become smaller and smaller. And then with your eyes opened or closed, inhale, palms lift up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale to fold, step back to top of plank pose. Exhale, lower to or toward the floor through chaturanga. Untuck toes for the back bend of your choice. Exhale, up and back to downward facing dog. Inhale, 1. Exhale. Inhale, 2. Exhale. Inhale, 3. Exhale. And then once more, just take a very deep breath in and a very full exhale. And then when you're ready, inhale, left leg up and back, lift up through your right toes even. Exhale, place your foot between your hands toward the left thumb. Angle down, get your lower body in warrior 2. When you're ready, unfurl, warrior 2 pose. You can stay here, or 3 times if you're moving with me. We'll go to an exalted triangle. Inhale, takes you up. Exhales, release you. Remember to come all the way down through your left thigh. After that 3rd time, if you took that option to take your hands down to the mat, Skandasana pose. Pivot your right heel in, lift up your right toes. You can keep your hands down or bring your hands to heart center for the Skandasana pose. Take your hands back down to the mat, pivot towards the front, and then bring your left hand to the outside of your left foot so that you're in your low lunge. Hover your fingertips away from the mat and then lift your way up to your high crescent lunge, lifting up your arms. Okay, take your hands to your heart center. Left hip draws back, lean forward, inhale, lengthen, exhale, twist. Prayer twist, maybe palms together, keep spiking up through the back thigh. Just breathe, maybe even lean back. Try to find the longest line you can. Okay, look down towards the right toe. Take your left hand to your left hip, reach your right arm out in front of you. So again, for me, it's like 6 inches to the right and then 9 inches, I guess, north of that. Shift your weight forward. When you're ready, right leg will lift. Neither leg needs to be straight. We'll work toward that. It's not necessary. Right thigh is dropping just a bit so your left thigh can find extension. Point your left elbow up toward the ceiling. And then when you're ready, left fingertips come up if you'd like. Revolved half moon. Okay, take your left hand to your left hip. Send your gaze down for more balance. Bend through the left knee. You're going to pull your right knee up to your chest. Right hand can come up to your right hip. All right. Left hand to the outside of right thigh. Send your right elbow back. You're lifting up and twisting here. Maybe you're looking all the way out to the right, maybe in towards your right shoulder. Option if you'd like to take it. Left hand. Slide all the way down the outside of your foot to the outside of your right foot and extend the leg forward. If you've taken that bind, start to rewind. Gaze back to front. Stand down, shake it out. Walk it out on Yoga Phi. Build it up just to burn it down. And then come back to your Tadasana, whether arms are alongside your body, or if you prefer to take your thumbs to your sternum, palms facing, pressing to each other. Find a fixed point. Focus your gaze on that. And then if you'd like to take that focus further, allow your eyelids to close while maintaining that focus. With your eyes opened or closed, inhale, arms lift up. Exhale, forward fold. On a breath in, offer your heart. On an exhale, bow to yourself. Step back to the top of a plank pose or float to chaturanga. Exhale, lower to or toward your mat to chaturanga all the way down. Untuck your toes. Inhale for the back bend of your choice. Inner elbows are reaching forward, fingertips spread wide. Exhale, take it up and back to downward facing dog. 3 breaths. At the end of your third exhale, take your knees to mat, hips to heels in child's pose, or Vajrasana, or another posture that you find to be restful. Recognize the state of your body. Be a witness to the state of your thoughts. Three more breaths to do with whatever you'd like. First of 3 breaths begins now. If you are in your child's pose, press your way up to seat. Bump your hips to one side and extend your legs out in front of you. So we're just going to do a little bit of a deep massage for our outer hips because, a lot has been going on. So what I want to do first is, for me, it's most comfortable if my left leg is just kind of like bent and kind of resting here. You might find it more comfortable to have your leg out in front of you, either flat or bent a bit. So, see what works best for you. I'll let you know what you're doing, then maybe you'll make a choice. You take your right hand to your right leg, flex your foot, and then you're going to put your foot into your wrist, or maybe all the way up to the crook of your elbow, and your right arm is coming around. And you're going to cradle your leg like a baby, and just start to move for a little bit from side to side. Just kind of reminding your body and your leg, everything's okay. No need to panic, it's fine. Okay, once you've calmed down your leg and it knows no funny stuff, we're going to try some funny stuff. Your left foot is going to move back to your your right foot back to your left hand. Take your right hand up to the side, and then you're going to kind of like lean back and over, and you're going to find a sweet spot in your bum or your hip. So you're kind of just like pressing the flesh away so you can get to these muscles. I can find them fairly quickly these days. And if you're like, I'm not feeling it, I don't know what you're talking about, try extending the right leg or leaning out in a different way, like leaning further out to the right, leaning back further back, lifting up. But once you find that sweet spot, just, like give yourself a little bit of love here. And then press your way back up. You're going to let that foot come down to the mat. Hands behind you so your knees are up. Windshield wiper, both knees over to the right. Windshield wiper, both knees over to the left. Bring it back up. I'm going to take the other side so you know a little bit where we're going. So for me, I like to have my right leg kind of out like a loose Baddha Konasana. Place your left foot towards your wrist or all the way up to the crook of your elbow. Wrap your left arm around, flex the left foot, rock your baby. Create a sense of calm. And then try some funny stuff. You're going to slide the left foot down to the right hand. Left hand behind you for some support. Lean back. Find your sweet spot. If you're like, I can't find it, just come out, come back in. Find your leg in a different position. Sides of our body are not the same. It's not an elegant thing. And once you've got that spot, just like give yourself a little bit of love. Oh yeah. All right, then release that foot, press your way back up. Take both feet into the mat, hands behind you. Beach pose, drop both knees over to the left. And then windshield wiper all the way over to the right. And then take your knees back up, press your way up to seated. Extend your left leg out in front of you. Place your right foot into your right thigh. Adjust your thighs as you need. We're going to take a Janushirsasana pose. Inhale, lift up your arms, pivot your torso towards your left leg, and then reach your hands for your foot. Let your hands drop wherever they do. Adjust again. Inhale, lift halfway. Reach your heart forward, and on an exhale, start to reach down. And if you have the mobility, extend your left arm beyond your left leg, thumb down, palm away, and reach your right arm around to grasp your left wrist. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, release. Take your right hand behind you, fingertips away, sweep your left arm around, come up onto left foot, right shin, stargazer pose. The longest line you can find between your left fingertips and your left toes. Open your heart up toward the ceiling. Press away with everything that's touching your mat. And then on an exhale, let your hips drop down, cycle all the way back around. Extend your right leg up, pull your left foot into right thigh, make all the adjustments you need. And then inhale, lift up your arms, pivot towards your right leg. Exhale, hinge forward, adjust again. Give yourself lots of space. And then exhale, deepen it. Same but different. Feel your left knee reach down and back as you press right thigh into left foot into right thigh. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, release your pose. Left hand behind you, fingertips away. For me, it's about 12 to 14 inches. Swing your right arm around, come up onto right foot, left shin, stargazer pose. Put your hand way beyond you. Lots of space. And then on an exhale, start to cycle your way back around. Drop your hips down. Take your feet out in front of you. Hands to the backs of your thighs, lean back, shoulder blades back. Option is stay here, or you can take it further with me. Lift up your shins. You can stay right here, or if you want more dynamic movement, we're going to take some Navasana to Ardha Navasana, hands either to the backs of your thighs or out alongside you. So if you're moving with me, inhale, Ardha Navasana, legs hover, lean back, shoulders hover, exhale, pull your knees into your chest. Inhale, Ardha. Exhale, Navasana. Inhale, Ardha Navasana. Exhale, Navasana. Continue twice more. And then drop your feet to the mat. And then lower all the way onto your mat. Happy baby pose. So take your hands to the outsides of your feet. If that's not happening, you can take your hands to your calves or your ankles. See if you can bring your elbows to the insides of your knees, though, for whichever variation you've chosen. Maybe rock a little bit from left to right. Finding a playful baby. And then bring your knees together, place your feet onto the mat. Set up like a bridge pose. I'm going to be guiding you through a bridge flow. However, if you'd like to take a traditional bridge, please feel welcome to do that. You will have the time to. If you'll be taking that bridge flow with me, make sure that your shoulder blades are underneath you. You've got a really firm foundation. And your knees and your hips and your toes are generally in the same line. On an inhale, lift up your hips, lift up your arms, place the backs of your hands to the mat, even lift up your heels. On an exhale, wave your spine down, your hips, hands, heels come down. Inhale, lift up, create lots of space, backs of hands to backs of mat, lift up, exhale, wave it all the way down, and then continue with your own breath here. One more round. Keeping your knees bent as they are, cross your right thigh over your left. Bump your hips over to the right about 2 inches so you can drop your knees over to the side. If this cross you find to be a little bit too intense, uncross your legs. Use the backs of your upper arms and your elbows to lift up. Continue the twist. Right arm out to the side for a counterbalance. Send your gaze out to the right. And then exhale, take your head back up to center. Bring your knees back up. Realign your hips. And cross the right leg. And cross the left thigh over the right. Press through your feet to lift up your hips. Scooch them to the left about 1 to 2 inches. Drop both knees over to the right. Adjust your shoulders. Deepen the twist. Turn your head toward the left. Soften your gaze or close your eyes. And your next exhale, take your head to center. Press through your feet to lift up your knees. Lift up your hips, realign. And then uncross your legs. Separate your feet a bit wider, maybe as wide as your mat. Knock both knees over to the right. Press up to center and then send your knees over to the left. The next pose we're going to take is a Vipakarani. So Viparita Karani rather. Bring your knees up to center. There's a couple ways you can do this. One is legs up wall. You scooch one of your hips up to a wall and then carefully roll onto your back. Extend your legs up. Your legs don't have to be perfectly straight. Bent is fine. Other variations include using a block. You'll kind of set up yourself as though you were coming into a bridge pose, or a supported bridge rather. Place the block on its lowest height underneath your sacrum and extend your legs up toward the ceiling. Final option, no wall, no block, just you and your body. You come onto your back like you're setting up for bridge, and then send your legs up toward the ceiling. Do not worry about your legs being straight. Even if you know your legs come straight, maybe allow a bend. So choose your variation. Feel free to change it up. Maybe you try one thing and you're like, not for me. That's fine. We're always able to do that. And then once you find a place where you can be relatively still, you can either bring your arms out alongside your body, or perhaps one heart on belly and hands on heart, hand on belly, or both hands on belly. Any variation. The final posture of this class will be Shavasana. If you'd like to take your Shavasana in the pose you're currently in, then there's very little that you need to do. Just make any adjustments that you do need. If you'd like to take a more traditional Shavasana, then as carefully as you entered this pose, you're going to exit it and make any of the adjustments that you need to your clothing, your environment. And then begin the systematic process of letting go. Starting to withdraw sensation and allowing yourself to simply be. And begin to exit, starting to bring thoughts back in, drifting in back to your dedication. Let your breath become larger. Exhaling anything that no longer serves you. And then slowly come out of the posture that you're in. Make your way to a seated posture of your choice with your eyes closed. Make sure you take a moment or two resting in between your meditative pose and your Shavasana, or legs up wall, or other variation. On an inhale, bring your arms out and up, palms to press above you. And on an exhale, take your thumbs to the space between your eyebrows for clarity of thought, to your lips for clarity of speech, and then to your heart for clarity of action. Bow your head to your heart. Symbol of offering, of gratitude, of humility. Thank you so much for sharing your practice with me. Thank you so much for creating this community. I am eternally grateful. In the name of the highest good, namaste.